dog's pleasure to bark.
ಇದು ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ರೈತರಿಗೆ ಬೆನಿಫಿಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಇದನ್ನ ಮಾಡೋದ್ರಿಂದ ರೈತರಿಗೆ ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ವರ್ಕೌಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. Like what you're doing now.
Beggar.
Namaskaram, Sadhguru. And to add up for this, like I done my research on a topic called as yield gap and constraints in maize. There is an nearly 30 to 40% of yield gap. Means the potential yield and what's the actual yield farmers are taking is there is so much of gap. I have written a thesis on that and I have made few objectives and I have done with that.
That is true with every grain.
Yes, Sadhguru.
Not just maize.
Yes. But we have to stick for one particular for our thesis because we got only 2 years to complete our masters. That is the point.
No, but I am saying it is across the board true in India.
Yes.
Indian agriculture, everywhere there is a yield gap.
Exactly. To add on, like you were telling to go for agroforestry. I am doing this agroforestry in my own farm.
The problem with me is I am not trying to earn a PhD. So I simply say it in people's face so they don't like it.
Nothing like Sadhguru, I am accepting it. Who done a masters in agriculture. That means it what you are speaking is science, not like some other things. It's absolutely science. Sadhguru, I am following this agroforestry. Where we are, I have planted few tamarind and jamun plants. They are 3 years old plants, saplings. From down the line, 3 years down the line, I will be earning minimum 10 lakhs from 5 acres of piece of land with my vegetable production because I gave a distance of 15 feet from plant to plant and 20 feet from row to row. In between, I am going for tomato and after tomato, I go for carrot and all. So this is an lucrative business to go for agroforestry.
Yes.
And my next...
And it's not rocket science.
Yes.
Just needs some sensible approach.
Yes, sir. And Sadhguru, like from last few decades, like 3 or 4 decades, there is we talk like there is overuse of chemical fertilizers and pesticides. But the fact is that our agriculture universities has recommended farmers to use so much of fertilizers and pesticides. But now we are blaming or pointing out that the soil is salty and all. How correct it is, or what is your opinion on this, Sadhguru?
See, I was in Russia. There is a very major phosphate mines there. They wanted to take me there, but somehow due to schedules I couldn't make it.
Okay.
So the owners of this were really big magnets of phosphate. It's one of the biggest phosphate mines in the world. Seems it's very interesting to see a phosphate mine. They were just dug into the mountain. So they were saying, see, in India you are not using enough fertilizer.
Okay.
I said, see, if we are putting natural phosphate into the land, it's all right to some extent.
Okay.
But if you use salts minus the organic content, then you're completely destroying the land. Because essentially the wealth of the soil is in its microorganisms.
Yes.
And as I've repeatedly said everywhere, southern India has a fortune that 1 teaspoonful of soil, if you take, there are anywhere between 10,000 to 50,000 species of microbes.
Oh my God, yeah.
And in 1 teaspoonful, there are more microbes than the number of people on this planet.
Oh.
So it's a phenomenal soil. So in this soil, if you put salt, what's happening is salt will cause a certain osmosis process where it will suck out all the water from the living cells. So this is just killing everything. We must understand the real soil is in its life, not just in the material. It is the life that is there which makes everything grow.
Exactly.
The microbes.
Exactly.
So how not to kill them is what we should see. We have a meal, in our meal we add little salt. But suppose we serve you just a salt heap as meal, how do you eat it? That's what we are doing.
Yes.
Little bit of salt is okay because with agriculture, the salt and mineral structures get little weakened unless you keep it really humus-rich, which may be difficult in all farms to do. So little addition, like you add salt for taste, you must add salt for little, what is missing. People are taking some B-complex tablets or vitamin tablets, whatever, but they can't live on it. They need to eat good food and little bit of boost. So fertilizer should be that little bit of boost, not the mainstay of farming. But unfortunately, I think we've gone that way. I must say this may sound little whatever, but I must say this was more a commercial enterprise than a scientific input. It is commerce which pushed this.
Okay. But Sadhguru, from past few years or like, there is a substantial amount of increase in the flora and fauna, and there is increase in green cover and all. But people are thinking still there is an for industrialization we are cutting the forest and all. That is, what is your opinion on this?
See, nobody is cutting the forest for industrialization. That time is over.
Yeah.
See, that is what it is. It has become a fashion that environment means we must pick up somebody and beat them.
Exactly.
That's not the way to address environment.
Yeah.
It is, as I've repeatedly said, you have to make sure whatever environment projects we do are economically sensible, otherwise they won't last anyway. If you want to make a living out of protesting on the streets, it's okay. But if you want to find a solution, that's not the way. It has to have an economic angle to it. From what data I have, they say only 1% of the land in India is occupied by industry, about 6% by townships and cities and whatever. 80% is occupied by agriculture. So that's where we need to make the change, because 80% of the land is there. Rest of it, part of it is in the government hands, forests, this and that, but 80% is in the hands of agriculturists or farmers. That is where we need to bring about the change if we really want to see some genuine change.
Yes, Sadhguru. And my one more question, like every time Raita andid takshana ayyo papa, badwa, sympathy, ide tara nodtare, and everyone try to use his name like either the political parties or any other, but no one comes with an precise solution. So idu madidre raitarige benefit agutte, idu madodrinda raitarige help agutte, economy plan work out agutte.
Yeah,
like what you're doing now.
Beggar. A farmer is not a beggar, he doesn't want to be a beggar. He doesn't need doles. Because he's in desperate condition, he may ask sometimes. But what he needs is dignity. What he needs is economic opportunity. What he needs is a lucrative way of doing farming. So that's what we need to give him. He's not a beggar to come and beg from the government or from anybody. Unfortunately, we've pushed him to that level.
Exactly. And my other question is like, Sadhguru, like my personal question, this one is like, I was a common man before entering into reality show.
Now you become what?
No. Not like that, in terms of like people recognize me and show much of love, or they adore me, something like that. Okay, but 5 to 10% of people will be commenting or trying to pull our legs. How to handle this?
Don't have to handle them, huh? They don't have a grip on your legs.
Okay.
It's dog's pleasure to bark. It's all right.
Yeah.
If you say dog should not bark, what is this? They will bark, it's okay. As long as you know, you must know.
Yeah.
In the deepest recesses of your heart, you must be clear that you are doing what, according to your intelligence, you're doing the best you can for your own well-being and everybody's well-being. If you're doing that, it's okay. Commentaries they will give, we can listen to them, because there may be some truth sometimes. There may be some truth, please listen to all the negative commentary. But it is not necessary they must decide the direction of your life, no.
Exactly. And thank you, Sadhguru, thank you for giving me this opportunity. I'm blessed, Sadhguru.
Nadirashtrasya maha amritam bharatam